Hello, I'm Nakia Basharuddin and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. Coronavirus situation in Malaysia not yet critical at this moment, says Prime Minister. And Tabung Haji to bear new 326 ringgit Hajj visa charge for each Malaysian pilgrim. Welcome. The novel coronavirus situation in Malaysia has not yet reached critical stage where the country needs to bar tourists from Wuhan, China, which had been identified as the ground zero of the deadly novel coronavirus. Instead, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the authorities were focusing on preventive measures and, in the long term, a cure for the new virus.
We cannot predict at this moment. Many countries face the same problem. We will also have to assess when is the critical stage. But at this moment, it's not yet critical to the point where we need to stop tourism, for example. But we will keep on checking on tourists. Whenever there is some indication they might be infected.
The Prime Minister said this after attending the Chinese New Year open house organized by Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng and the Klang Chinese Chambers of Commerce at the Klang Hokkien Association building on Sunday. Asked if the government plans to quarantine all tourists from China and other affected countries upon their arrival in the country, the Prime Minister said that the move was not viable as the number of Chinese tourists coming into the country can reach up to 2 million people. Tun Dr. Mahathir also said that it was easier for people with other ailments to get infected with the new virus, which is why it was imperative for the government to quickly isolate and quarantine those with even the slightest symptoms of the infection. At the same function, Health Ministry Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said his ministry will be looking to increase the number of thermal scanners at entry points into the country to help detect travellers who may be infected with the novel coronavirus. He said the Finance Ministry is assisting with more allocations to enable the Health Ministry to increase its capabilities in terms of equipment.
As you very well know, this scanner is very important, but it may even escape, as I said, infection because they are asymptomatic. And so far as it is now, we have about 51. If I'm not mistaken, I may not get that number right, but one that's really working well. So this is why I've already asked from FM Minister that in the face of this crisis, I will be putting in some more allocation to handle and increase our ability, capability, equipments and whatnot.
He added that his ministry, through his Crisis Preparedness and Response Centre, CPRC, was conducting monitoring across the country and preparing updates based on reports received from public and private facilities. The minister also admitted it was difficult identifying all those infected, as some of the tourists came in without symptoms and developed them later. The Health Director General, in the meantime, confirmed that 14 Malaysians and 9 foreigners were under investigation for the novel Wuhan coronavirus, or 2019 nCoV. Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, in a statement on Sunday, said between January 10th and January 26th, the cumulative cases were 23, including 8 Chinese nationals and a Jordanian. He said only one case was positive for the coronavirus, a 40-year-old man from China, while 18 other cases were negative and have been discharged from hospital. The remaining 4 cases, 2 Malaysians and 2 Chinese nationals, have been placed in isolation at several hospitals pending laboratory results, which is expected soon. Dr. Nur Hisham added that of the 8 Chinese nationals who were in direct contact with the first positive case in Singapore, 3 were positive for the virus in Malaysia, a 65-year-old woman and 2 children aged 11 and 2. The 5 negative cases have already been sent back to China, while the 17 tourists who were in contact with the 4th positive case here has been placed under observation and isolated while waiting for test results. He also confirmed that all 4 positive cases were in stable condition. The Health Director General said suspected cases would be checked and referred to hospital for sample taking and symptom observations, and the cases would be monitored until the incubation period for the virus was over, which is about 14 days from the day of exposure or departure from China. Meanwhile, 2 siblings from the People's Republic of China have been quarantined at the Sultanah Maliha Hospital, HSM, in Langkawi, Kedah on suspicion of having contracted the 2019 novel coronavirus. It is understood that the 4-year-old girl and her 2-year-old sister with their parents were reported to have been on the tourist island since Friday for a holiday. The siblings were admitted to the hospital at 1 p.m. on Sunday. HSM Director Dr. Mansur Ismail said they were still conducting further checks on the siblings' symptoms and travel history before they arrived in Langkawi. He said the 2 children were reported to have symptoms including flu, fever and cough while in Langkawi. Dr. Mansur said the examination samples will be sent to the Institute of Medical Research, IMR. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail has urged the public not to panic following the detection of the novel coronavirus in Malaysia. This as there was only a small cluster of cases and it has yet to turn into an outbreak like in Wuhan, China. She also assured the government has the situation under control and has the experience and capability to handle such deadly outbreaks as in the past.
What we have done, Malaysia has done well in menangani masalah SARS, masalah Nipah virus, masalah Ebola. So it shows that we have the capacity to take care of ourselves. Tetapi we need the cooperation of all Malaysians. Janganlah tularkan any fake news, nakut-nakutkan, memberikan satu gambaran bahawa kita semua dah ada panik semua. Please, it's important for all of us to take care of each other.
Earlier, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah, who is also the chairman of National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, chaired a high-level emergency meeting with several ministries and key government officials on the novel coronavirus outbreak at her office in Putrajaya. During the meeting, it was also decided that there is no need for the government to evacuate Malaysians in Wuhan, which is now put in lockdown by the Chinese government. Malaysia is also working closely with the World Health Organization to curb the spread of the virus, which has now reached at least 12 countries. In the meantime, the Malaysian Embassy in China has formed an emergency response team in the wake of the deadly coronavirus 2019 nCoV outbreak. Malaysia's ambassador to China, Datuk Raja Nurshirwan Zainal Abidin, said the embassy is contacting over 100 Malaysians, comprising of professionals and students, as well as their family members, who are based in Wuhan, which is the epicenter of the viral outbreak. Datuk Raja Nurshirwan said the embassy is also engaging with the provincial government, including its education and health offices, to keep close track of developments on the outbreak. It is estimated that between 115 to 120 Malaysians in Wuhan are registered with the embassy. However, he said the embassy believes that quite a significant portion of them have left Wuhan because of Chinese New Year. He also advised Malaysians who are still in Wuhan not to panic and to take seriously health precautionary measures recommended by the authorities. The Malaysians, he said, should constantly keep themselves updated on the situation via local media, as well as news from the Malaysian Health Ministry, the National Health Commission of the People's Republic of China, and the World Health Organization. Raja Nur Shirwan also urged family members of Wuhan-based Malaysians to provide information on their loved ones' whereabouts to the embassy via their email or by phone. Meanwhile, 87 Malaysians who have returned from Wuhan and the surrounding Hubei region after the Chinese New Year holiday so far are free of the novel coronavirus infection. Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said those returning from China have underwent health screening as soon as they arrived in the country. The individuals have also been advised to seek immediate attention from a health clinic in the case that they detect any symptoms of illness later on. In the meantime, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah has called on Malaysians to take care of their health and safety following the detection of 4 novel coronavirus cases in the country as of Saturday. The King and Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Hajah Azizah Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria, who expressed concerns over the matter, said the people should take precautions and comply to directives issued by authorities. In a statement issued by Istana Negara on Sunday, Al-Sultan Abdullah and Tunku Hajah Azizah urged the people to take the initiative to better understand the epidemic and to follow the advice and preventive measures as outlined by the Health Ministry. The royal couple also encouraged the public to keep abreast with news on the outbreak by reading on the latest information distributed by the Health Ministry through various channels. They also expressed their gratitude and appreciation for the prompt action and continuous monitoring carried out by health authorities and the World Health Organization, WHO, in ensuring that prevention and control measures were effectively implemented. Their Majesties, however, regretted the actions of several irresponsible parties who had issued false statements, which were later made viral by others without checking on the facts. Al-Sultan Abdullah and Tunku Hajah Azizah hoped that the people would not create unnecessary panic by creating and disseminating unverified information. Meanwhile, Singapore has confirmed the 4th imported case of Wuhan coronavirus infection in the Republic. Singapore Ministry of Health, in a statement, said the 4th confirmed case is a 36-year-old male Chinese national from Wuhan who arrived in Singapore with his family on January 22nd. The patient is currently warded in an isolation room at Sengkang General Hospital, SKH, and is in stable condition. It was reported that he was asymptomatic during the flight to Singapore. He subsequently developed a cough on January 23rd and went to the SKH emergency department the next day. The ministry said he was classified as a suspect case and was immediately isolated, adding that subsequent tests confirmed the Wuhan coronavirus infection at about 9:30 p.m. on Saturday. Prior to the hospital admission, it said the man had stayed at Village Hotel Sentosa. The ministry added it has initiated epidemiological investigations and contact tracing to identify individuals who had close contact with him. The first confirmed case was announced on January 23rd and another 2 the following day. China on Sunday morning announced 15 more deaths from the new coronavirus, including 1 in Shanghai, the first reported so far in the metropolis. 13 more deaths were also announced in Hubei province, where the outbreak began, and 1 was announced in Henan province. The latest deaths brought the toll in China to 56. Across the country, 688 cases of the new virus were diagnosed, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 1,975 as of early Sunday. China's National Health Commission, meanwhile, revealed that the coronavirus transmission ability is getting stronger and infections could continue to rise. Its minister, Ma Xiaowei, said authorities' knowledge of the new virus was limited and they are unclear on the risk posed by mutations of the virus. He stressed that containment efforts, which have thus far included transportation and travel curbs and the cancellation of big events, will be intensified. The virus, believed to have originated late last year in a seafood market in the central Chinese city of Wuhan that was illegally selling wildlife, has spread to Chinese cities including Beijing and Shanghai, as well as Malaysia, the United States, Thailand, South Korea, Japan, Australia, France and Canada. Lembaga Tabung Haji, TH, has decided to bear the cost of 326 ringgit for the Hajj visa for each Malaysian pilgrim after the Saudi Arabian government imposed the new charge beginning the 2020 Hajj season. Estimating that the move would cost a total of 10 million ringgit, TH Hajj Senior General Manager Datuk Sri Syed Saleh Syed Abdul Rahman said that he believes the Saudi government imposed the new charge based on the various services it renders to Hajj pilgrims each year. Datuk Sri Syed Saleh, who is also the head of the Malaysian Hajj delegation, said the new charge was introduced after the Saudi Arabian government abolished the 2,168 ringgit charge imposed on repeat pilgrims. On the cost of performing the Hajj, he gave the assurance that it will remain unchanged for the time being, but in view of rising overall costs each year, TH may have to look into revising its charges to ensure its survival as the fund manager of 9.4 million depositors. 600 TH staff, including 250 doctors and medical personnel, as well as Hajj guides, counsellors and employees of the National Registration Department will be involved in ensuring the smooth running of this year's Hajj operations. A total of 31,600 Malaysian Hajj pilgrims will be performing their pilgrimage this year, compared to only 30,200 last year. More people from the rural areas should venture into business in order to bridge the income gap between the rural and urban communities. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said he believed that everyone, be it from the cities or the rural areas, would be able to succeed in business provided they are willing to learn related skills. Tun Dr. Mahathir said he also hoped for more Malaysians to try something new in an effort to improve their lives.
Saya memang berminat untuk melihat lebih ramai orang yang tinggal di luar bandar, terutamanya mendapat kejayaan. Kerana kita lihat antara bandar dengan luar bandar, kekayaan amat berbeza. Orang di bandar biasanya kaya, orang di luar bandar biasanya miskin. Tetapi kalau kita belajar macam mana nak berniaga, maka kita juga akan dapat pendapatan yang sama bahkan lebih daripada yang terdapat di bandar.
He said this in a brief speech at a casual program with successful entrepreneurs organized by Rich Works International Sdn Bhd with the cooperation of the Rural Development Ministry on Sunday. Also present were the Prime Minister's wife, Tun Dr. Siti Hasmah Muhammad Ali, and Rural Development Minister Datuk Sri Rina Muhammad Harun. About 11,000 participants took part in the program held at the Setia City Convention Center, SCCC. Relating his experience visiting several companies in Okinawa, Japan, Tun Dr. Mahathir also said the government is considering sending Malaysians to Japan to learn the nation's unique business models before returning and applying them back in their home country. In Pahang, 3 people were killed and 2 others seriously injured in a collision between 5 motorcycles on the East Coast Highway on Saturday night. According to the police, the crash occurred at 9:05 p.m. near the Gambang Rest and Recreational R&R area. The dead were identified as Azli Mat Daud, Muhammad Amirul Faris Abdullah, and Shamil Nazir alias Nasir, aged between 25 and 40, all from Maran. The 5 victims were believed to have been part of a convoy traveling from Kuantan to Maran when the accident occurred. All the bodies, as well as the injured victims, were sent to the Tengku Ampuan Afzan Hospital for post-mortem and treatment. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. In Pahang, a Form 3 student was drowned after he was believed to have slipped at Lata Jaran Waterfall in Raub on Sunday. According to Raub District Police Chief Superintendent Kama Azural Muhammad, the victim, Farid Haikal Yusri, aged 15 years old, from Sungai Buloh, Selangor. It is understood that he was bathing at the waterfall along with his 2 brothers and 7 other friends before they were swept away by the strong current. All of them managed to save themselves, while the victim was nowhere to be found. Farid's body was later found not far from the waterfall and was taken to Raub Hospital for post-mortem. In Perak, a pair of young lovers were remanded for 3 days beginning Sunday at the Batu Gajah Magistrates Court for concealing the birth of a baby and then disposing its body into Sungai Perak. Perak Tengah Police Chief Superintendent Barudin Wariso said it was learned that the woman delivered the baby in her 7th month of pregnancy in her bedroom at a house in Taman Maju, Sri Iskandar about 3 a.m. on Tuesday without the knowledge of her family, but the infant died shortly after the birth took place. She then wrapped the body in a piece of cloth and hid it in a wardrobe for 3 days before handing it over to her boyfriend, who then disposed it in the river. The search for the body of the baby in the river is still ongoing with the help of the Fire and Rescue Department personnel. Nightline's esports segment after this breather. On to the esports segment for the latest gaming news. The new year brings new beginnings, especially for esports teams trying to make a mark in the upcoming competitive season. Official announcements have been made and many changes to team lineups have been drawn, exciting esports fans across the country. Let's take a look at some of this week's top news updates.
Team Secret announced their 2020 lineup for their PUBG Mobile division, comprising of Muttoy, Haikul, iShots and Bew. Recent signing Muttoy from Thailand was previously a member of Team Illuminate and brings valuable experience from the Southeast Asian League of the PMCO Spring and Fall split. Former victorious in-play VIP player Haikul and Yudu Gangstar iShots also joins the lineup, with the remaining Team Secret captain Bew leading the team. After a lengthy selection process, urban lifestyle brand Toda has finally announced their new Dota 2 team that includes many experienced players. This is the first time Toda has announced an esports team on the PC platform and aims to be the top Dota 2 team in Malaysia while representing the country at the World Championships. Teammates Vexus, Sakri, Denise, Wiu, Envious and Cyril will be preparing for a comprehensive training session and is scheduled to participate in competitions to qualify for the Dota Pro Circuit 2020 season. Moving on to upcoming tournaments, Garena World 2020 will host the first ever Call of Duty Mobile tournament known as the Garena Invitational. Organized in Thailand, the tournament will feature a prize pool of over $65,000 or 265,000 ringgit. Regional qualifications will select a total of 8 teams from Thailand, Indonesia, Taiwan, Singapore, Philippines and Malaysia to compete in the finals. Following the outbreak of the Wuhan virus, the World Electronic Sports Games WESG has issued a statement announcing the cancellation of the CSGO Asia Pacific Finals. Chinese authorities have advised people to avoid traveling to Wuhan as the death toll from the outbreak of the coronavirus continues to rise. The tournament was initially scheduled to take place in Macau from February 16th until 18th.
Death toll from Turkey's earthquake rises to 35. Do stay with us. We're back with the foreign news. Rescue teams in Turkey continue to pull survivors from collapsed buildings on Sunday as the death toll from a powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake in the country's east rose to 35. According to local authorities, nearly 4,000 rescue workers combed through debris in freezing temperatures, helped by mechanical diggers, in vain hopes of finding anyone alive in the city of Elazig, where the quake struck on Friday evening. It is understood that a total of 45 people have been pulled alive from under the rubble on Sunday. Meanwhile, in a press conference in Istanbul on Sunday, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said every effort was being made to alleviate conditions. Erdogan also promised housing for displaced residents as soon as possible. Nearly 80 buildings collapsed, while 645 were heavily damaged in Elazig and Malatya provinces. Before we wrap up tonight's Nightline, let's see what has been installed on the front pages of Malaysia's main newspapers on Monday, January 27th. All main newspapers highlight the spread of coronavirus in Malaysia, with the New Straits Times touching on how the virus affects the tourism sector in the country, while the nation's best-selling Malay newspaper, Harian Metro, discusses Malaysians' concerns on the spread of the virus. Do get your copies tomorrow. With that, I'm Nekhawi Basharuddin. Thank you for watching and take care.